Previously.
Let's do it. Ready? Alright, that green light will come on if there's power. It's plugged in. Here we go. I'll put it closer. You ready? Should get a drum roll going for this. Done. Oh, yes! Epic. And this here, like where we are, it's a strange place. It's like full of zombies or something. Keep this thing safe. Gotta keep this thing safe, guys. I don't know what the hell he's up to, but it's not. Doesn't look promising for the Sherman. If he got his hands on it, maybe he wants to swap that thing for a Sherman. What do you reckon? Just like in a car, when you hit the gas hard, what do? You go back, right? Same with an EUC. If it tried to accelerate, without you leaning forward, you're just gonna go back in the same way and you're gonna fall off the wheel because you're balancing on one wheel. That's something we forget a lot, is we're always balancing on basically like half a square inch of tire that's in contact with the road. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. All the things we do, like just cruising around the whole city, you know, owning the friggin' streets. You know, king of the road basically, ahead of motorbikes. And we're balancing on one little piece of rubber like this, just tiny, like the size of a penny. $500 for 3 years. 3 years is like 1,000 days, so it's 50 cents a day. That's definitely worth it in my opinion, because otherwise what, you're gonna just baby your wheel until when, like for 10 years? So it will last forever. And then, the new wheels come out every 6 months, don't they? So in 3 years, I'm assuming these are gonna be almost obsolete. In 10 years, they're gonna be like ancient tech. People are gonna be like, what, one of them? I ain't seen one of them since the... Maybe it is, maybe that's around the limit, but let's say 150 miles an hour then. I definitely don't think that's possible. Imagine the wind resistance. You need to have a... What's up, guys? Welcome back again. And the channel's actually, it looks like it's growing again, guys. That's so awesome to see. And that means we're getting new viewers. So anyone that's new to the channel, welcome. And subscribe, because the more people that subscribe, the more the channel grows. And the more content I'll put out. And if anyone wants to support the channel, that's my link. And today's video is about top speed. What's the max theoretical top speed we can achieve on a wheel? And I had an interesting chat straight after, remember the last video? It was in this area where I found that charging station, or like a power point. And I actually hung around there for a little bit longer, and I had a chat about top speed, but I didn't upload it in the last video because it would have been too long. So this is it now, but it's on the same day. It was just straight after the last video. So let's begin. But before we do, let's talk about zombies, because I went there today. I went there again later, and I found some zombies, guys. It was the weirdest thing ever. So let's watch this, and it's kind of trippy. And don't go away before we get to the conversation. So here we are, guys, back at this charging station, this strange place, like I told you. And you're gonna see why. You're about to see some zombies. But first, let's look at some birds. There's some awesome birds around here. And I caught some rare footage. of some like really cool parrots and other birds too. Like I'll talk about them in a sec. Really trippy birds that can like kill you. No joke. You hear a lot about Australia having dangerous animals. Well, this is one of them. You're gonna see.
So it's not zombie then. Look at them for them. These birds are hilarious. Look, it's mid-step, see? It doesn't know what it's doing. You always catch them mid-step. See? It's like, what to do next? And now, see, mid-step. What? Oh, sick. There's the baby. You never see these. You never see these, guys. This is a rare moment. The baby spur-winged plover. That's what they're called. And these birds are dangerous apparently. They can, well, not when they're that little, but when they're adults, they can give you TBIs, traumatic brain injury, that stands for. So they can basically kill you. That's what I've heard anyway, when they swoop. But I've never been swooped by these birds. The funny thing is though, they lay their eggs on the ground. Like, instead of laying it in a tree where it's protected, they lay them on the ground. And I'm not joking, guys, that's like part of their nature. So what they do, they lay them on the ground, and then anyone that comes by gets attacked because, you know, they're vulnerable. They need to like defend the eggs. So they'll swoop the hell out of people. They'll like nearly kill people, they say. But that one's already hatched. So that little baby one, so they're not that protected right now. Look, there's a parrot right here, guys. This is also pretty rare to see them this close. Look where I am. I'm zoomed out right now, see? And it's right there. That's awesome. Look how colorful they are. Some rare footage right now, guys. Normally you see them far away and you have to like zoom right in. But now we got some close-ups. Couple more over there, look. This is the spur-winged plover again, the one I said is dangerous. Oh look, there's another one over there. Try and find there, look, see? That's the same one. These birds are hilarious, guys. Like I showed you, they're like mid-step. They're always doing that. They're probably thinking about their eggs. mid-step, they're like, oh, maybe I should go back to the eggs. I reckon that's it, guys. Where's it going? Look at the way they walk. That's funny. Another one of my favorite birds. Look, can you hear them? They sound hilarious too, don't they? Can you hear that? It's like some kind of Joker from Batman or something. Look at that! And guys, speaking of Batman, the way they fly is pretty intense too. Like, they don't look that big, but when they take off flying, it's like friggin' Batman taking off. Like, their wings just like expand and it looks crazy. And they make that noise that, like, as they take off. Oh, look! There's the galahs. Oh, that's a galah right there. That's a pink and grey one. There's white ones as well. And the white ones make a completely different sound. They actually sound like clowns. It's like they're laughing. Makes me laugh as well when I hear them. It's funny as well. Look, there's parrots flying. Awesome, look at that. Landed up in the tree. Yeah, when I saw this documentary about galahs, the white ones, they laugh like clowns, right? The ones that laugh like clowns. I saw a documentary about them, and it was so funny. There was this one bit where they're talking about how they raid the farmers' haystacks. You know, the farmers, they've got like hay stacked up in big piles for, like, you know, feeding their horses. And the galahs will raid them in like massive numbers. Like, there'll be millions of these galahs just like raiding these haystacks, right? And like, they're all laughing at the same time. They make this laughing sound. It just sounds so funny, guys. Like, when I saw that documentary, I was just like cracking up laughing. But it's like laughter. I'll play the sound so you can hear them. But imagine millions of them all laughing and just raiding this farmer's friggin' stock. It looks so funny. And the farmer comes out with a shotgun and he tries to shoot him. And he just takes pop shots, like shooting at the air, and just does nothing. You know, it just has no effect. They're all still laughing. And there's like millions of them. Even if you got one of them, like, what difference is it gonna make? And they can't do anything about it. It's just like part of their economy. You know, they gotta feed the galahs. These fucking zombies. What are you doing, dude? Get out of my video. Get out of my video. What the hell? What is that dude doing? Trying. Zombies, I tell you. This place has been shut since the morning. Look at this guy. What's he doing? How's it going? And guys, you might be thinking that these might be like mentally disabled people or something, but I spoke to the other guy and he sounded as eloquent as it gets. It sounded like Shakespeare. So I don't know what's going on here, guys. This is some trippy stuff, to say the least.
Where are you going? And watch this guy, he's gonna be real trippy in a sec.
What the fuck is he doing?
I don't know, guys. But my Sherman is just there, so better be careful.
Told you this place has got zombies.
What's he doing?
What the fuck, dude?
Keep this thing safe. Gotta keep this thing safe, guys. I don't know what the hell he's up to, but it's not. Doesn't look promising for the Sherman. If he got his hands on it, maybe he wants to swap that thing for a Sherman. What do you reckon? Maybe that's what he's looking to do. I'll have to find another Sherman. I told you there's zombies here, guys. I told you. That's it. Interesting though, isn't it? Oh look, the plovers. Spur-wing plovers. Almost saw them in flight. Remember I just said earlier that they look awesome when they fly? They look really intimidating, like imposing. Like when they're not flying, though, this isn't one of them. I don't know what. Oh, that's called a noisy miner. Well, here we are, just chilling. That's so good. It's just carrot juice, a bit of ice. That's the first thing I've eaten today, or dranken, if that, dranken. So I'm trying to think of something to talk about. There's something I was gonna mention. Well, a couple of things actually. So I mentioned in the other video how someone told me about the sand, how that can actually damage the EUC. And it kind of got me worried because I've said in the past. Hold on, I'm just turning this down a little bit. I said in the past that sand is not an issue, right? And I strongly believed that. But now it's got me thinking, right? And the reason I said it's not an issue is because there's not much salt in it. Because I'm thinking that the salt is the real killer when you're at the beach. And if you go through the salt water, that's definitely bad because you end up with just salt on your wheel because the water evaporates. And sand though, it doesn't have much salt in it at all. Just a tiny little bit. But what he said. It was me, EUC, on my EUC actually that said this. What's up, bro? And thanks for telling me this, but it also got me paranoid. What he said was that sand is pre-glass, which is true. So when you get sand all up in your wheel, it's like just wearing away the, I guess, the axle and the bearings, I don't know. Anything that's like moving, you know, rubbing against each other. And it's kind of true. Like just the other day I got sand in my eyes, like heaps. There was just sand blasting off the beach. And I got tons of sand in my eyes, and I noticed like, yeah, this is like glass, isn't it? It hurts when it gets in your eyes, right? So it is kind of like glass, hey? So that's got me worried. But yeah, and the thing he said though, that that makes me kind of doubt it, is he said they're not IP77 proof, meaning they're not rated for dust and sand, dirt, but they are rated for water, which is weird because I would have imagined that water can get into anywhere that sand and dirt can get in, right? Because the molecules are much smaller than dirt particles or sand particles. You know, water can get in almost anywhere. To waterproof something, you need to seal it off to the max, you know? So how the hell is sand gonna get in somewhere that water can't, right? And then the other thing that makes me doubt it is, if he's right, that means we can't ride off road at all, because you're gonna get dirt in your wheel. You can't like ride off road without getting some dirt in your wheel. So that would just be silly, wouldn't it? If we couldn't even ride off road. Everyone rides off road. So I kind of have my doubts. I think he might be wrong. Because if we can ride off road, that means they are rated for dirt and dust, meaning they can take sand. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts. Because I'm kind of, like I'm unsure, you know? I think he may be right, but then I think he may be wrong. There's good reasons to think both ways, so let me know you guys' thoughts. And that's it, I guess. There's nothing much we can really do apart from speculate, is there? But I'm gonna test it anyway, guys, to be honest. What did my the last time it broke down, how much did it cost to fix? It was $300 for a new motor. And that was a second-hand motor though, and it was like $250. So I'm guessing a brand new one would be like max 500. And it wasn't even broken. I just replaced it because they said I should, because it was rusted. So if it turns out that sand does damage your wheel, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 years for it to happen anyway. And when that does, if it's going to cost $500 to replace the motor, then it's still worth it in my opinion. $500 for 3 years of beach riding, right? It's not much when you think about how much fun you're going to get from all that riding, you know? You could ride every day at the beach. $500 for 3 years. 3 years is like 1,000 days. So it's 50 cents a day. That's definitely worth it in my opinion, because otherwise what? You're gonna just baby your wheel until for 10 years? So it'll last forever. And then, the new wheels come out every 6 months, don't they? So in 3 years, I'm assuming these are gonna be almost obsolete. In 10 years, they're gonna be like ancient tech. People are gonna be like, what, one of them? I ain't seen one of them since 2021. That's what people say in the future. No, but to be honest, guys, these will never be lame. Even, I don't care what comes out. This is sick. This is the shit. I mean, nothing but good memories too. Like, even if like they do get surpassed, and then one day we're like on wheels that just go like, they can glide over water, you know. I'm still gonna look back at this and be like, yeah, that's, you know, that's like history. I mean, how do you say it? It's like nostalgic, you know. It's just gonna bring back so many good memories. I'll be like, yeah, that was the wheel, you know, that was the wheel. Best wheel of its time. Let's see the voltage. Look at that, 98.5. So it's basically fully charged, guys. I've only been sitting here for like half an hour. Full charge is 100 volts. Well, it can actually go up to 101. So I guess you could say 101 is full charge. And it's at 98.5. So it's like 2.5 volts left. Yum. And the other thing we can talk about is the max. Like, I'm gonna do a video on this though, so this won't be it, but I'll just talk about it now. The max speed of any EUC, the max theoretical speed of an electric unicycle. You know, like theoretical max, as in how fast could you make something go if you had no limit in terms of your battery tech and your motor tech and your controller, you know, unlimited amps. There's still going to be a limit that limits how fast you can go, right? And that's based on physics, rotational physics and equilibrium. Because how does an EUC work, right? How do you accelerate when you're only on one wheel? That's kind of like what trips people out the most when they see you accelerate. They're like, what? How the hell does this thing accelerate? Well, it's in a state of balance. You accelerate through balance. And what you're balancing is the torque that's being applied by the motor down to the road, and your the leverage that you apply on the wheel in terms of your standing position. So to have those things in balance, you need to be leaning forward. You need to lean forward in order to maintain balance, because if that wheel tried to accelerate without you leaning forward, you're just going to go backwards. You're going to fall on the back of your head, basically. Just like in a car, when you hit the gas hard, what do? You go back, right? Same with an EUC. If it tried to accelerate without you leaning forward, you're just going to go back in the same way, and you're going to fall off the wheel because you're balancing on one wheel. That's something we forget a lot, is we're always balancing on basically like half a square inch of tire that's in contact with the road. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. All the things we do, like just cruising around the whole city, you know, owning the friggin' streets. You know, king of the road, basically, ahead of motorbikes. And we're balancing on one little piece of rubber like this, just tiny, like the size of a penny, the entire time. And we forget how crazy that kind of is, but it's limiting as well, because that's what I'm talking about now, is how fast can we possibly go on one wheel like that? And some of you might think, oh, well, what about motorbikes? They can do monos, you know, wheelies, at like 200 miles an hour, basically. But that's not the same. It's completely different physics, because when you're on a motorbike, you've got all that weight in front of you, okay? So it's kind of like giving you all that leverage that I said, you know, I said at the start, I was like, you need to balance the torque that the motor applies with the leverage you apply on the wheel. Remember how I said that? Like 5 minutes ago? Well, that's the same with the motorbike. You need to do the same thing. And they've got the advantage because they've got all that weight up front. So they can hit way more power, or they can like lay down way more power before they fly backwards, right? Because they're like this to begin with. And when they lay down power, the motorbike goes up like that, doesn't it? But on an EUC, we're like this. That's our neutral position. So when we lay down power, we go even further back, and we got to lean forward with our body to be able to accelerate. Not only to accelerate, but to maintain a high speed too. And that's where it gets interesting, because when you're moving faster, there's more wind resistance, isn't there? And wind resistance is like proportional to the square of velocity. So if you double your speed, your wind resistance goes up by 4 times. If you triple your speed, it goes up 9 times. Quadruple, 16. Multiply by 10, it goes up 100 times. It's just, you know, it blows way out of proportion. So the faster you're going, the more force that's going to be in your face or on your whole body and the EUC because of the wind. And what that's doing, it's pushing you backwards. So it's doing the opposite of what you're doing as you're trying to accelerate. Because when you accelerate, you're like trying to thrust forward, you know, you're trying to lean forward, and the wind is pushing you back, right? And basically though, you need to maintain any given speed, you need to be, how do you say it? You need to be prompting the wheel to deliver enough torque to push through the wind that you're encountering, right? That's the only way. Like a car, when a car is like going at a steady, let's say 100 mph, it's delivering the same amount of power that the wind is impacting on the car, like the same force, I mean. It's the same force. So the forces are in equilibrium, meaning there is no acceleration and there's no deceleration. It stays at a constant speed. Same with an EUC. To be maintaining any given speed, let's say 100 miles an hour on your EUC, well, you need to be delivering enough torque from that one wheel to push through that wind, right? But how does I'll use this actually to demonstrate, because it's round. And this is the rider, right? How does the EUC know when to deliver torque? Well, it's based on your lean angle, isn't it? That's how it works. It's gyroscopic. Like, you know how I said before, if it tried to accelerate without you leaning forward, you'd fall backwards. Well, that's impossible, because that's the way the EUC works. You have to lean forward first, and then it accelerates. It'll never happen the other way around. And what I'm saying though is that to push through any given wind, let's say 100 miles an hour wind, you need to be leaning forward hard enough to prompt the EUC to deliver enough torque, which will then apply enough force to the road to match the wind that's hitting the front of the whole vehicle, your body and the EUC. And that's where it gets tricky, right? Because think about it. Then what if you go faster? You need to lean forward more, don't you? So that's where it's limited. That's why you're so limited. So imagine you're going 100 miles an hour. I don't even think that would be possible, guys, on an EUC. Maybe it is. Maybe that's around the limit. But let's say 150 miles an hour then. I definitely don't think that's possible. Imagine the wind resistance. You need to have a lean angle like this, right? To just be cruising, just to not slow down. You need to lean forward so hard that you would reach the limit where you just fall off the machine, right? Not only that, but you lose grip, because when you're standing upright, the force is going straight down. They call it the normal force in physics, and you've got maximum grip. When you lean forward like this, you no longer have the same level of grip. You have less force in the downwards direction. It's like it's an angled vector. So you've lost a lot of grip, and that's exactly what you need. You need grip to maintain high speeds, because you need to deliver that power to match the wind resistance. So it's a complex system of variables, but you can see that there's many things going against us as we try to go faster and faster. you can't just keep going faster. Like on an EUC, like I said, you have to earn your speed through balance. And that's the limiting thing, guys. You know, if we change the shape of our EUC so it's more like a motorbike where you got all this weight up front, then you could go faster, but then it wouldn't be an EUC anymore. It would just be a motorbike with no front tire, basically. And I think I remember seeing a guy that actually made something just like that. He got a motorbike and just like removed the front tire, still had the handlebars, and he rides around just doing a mono everywhere. Like hopping rocks and stuff. It was crazy. But yeah, that's what you'd have to do if you wanted to get higher speeds. Just basically have a motorbike with no front tire and call it an EUC. Call it the Gotway Mega Monster. I don't know. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's what I was going to talk about. It's going to hit a little bit of this herbal. Oh, and the camera is going to run out of juice. I mean, it's going to run out of memory in a sec. Like, it's got 1 minute and 38 seconds left, guys. So let's see if I can hit this quick. Oh, nah, there's no chance. No chance. Because look, that's got to get to 200. And there's only 1 minute and... Oh! I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll see how we go. It's up 100. That's about the highest speed I would imagine, around 130 kilometers per hour, not miles. That's what I reckon an EUC could, that's what I said before, 130, but I'm thinking maybe a bit higher. 160 maybe, which is 100 miles an hour. Probably around there actually, like absolute limits. With the form factor we're currently using, you know, the wheels we use, it's just basically a wheel and a box around it. There's no weight helping you like lever it forward, you know. So I would say 100, yeah. 100 miles